So how did the opportunity to even go to World Superbike even happen? Like how'd the moons line up for you? Because did you ever think you'd end up racing in a World Superbike race at all?
So we knew Richard Samboli done a few wild cards before, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was always like, I would do like a little like mention it in the beginning of the season, like, oh, it'd be cool to do World Superbike. It'd be cool to do World Superbike. And and he started, getting hard on a little bit for it throughout the season, and then in the middle of the season, we're like, let's see if we can get the funds to do this thing, And then I was like, well, we should do Estoril and Jerez because they're back to back. And they're like, yeah, let's try to work on it. And then Pirelli and some other key sponsors like Strack and helped us out to make it happen. Once they told me I was doing it, man, I was so stoked. When you're in that, when you're getting your ass kicked on the weekend, it's hard to enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like when you, as a racer, you're like, man, fuck, I'm 20th place right now.
Right.
Miserable. But when you leave the day, at least in Jerez, knowing that if I would have dropped 4/10 in the race at the end of the race, I could have been battling for 10th place. You know what I mean? Like it was, and my race pace at the end was always pretty good, and it was always like a really like competitive times. But I'm still in 18th or whatever I was. It was cool when you leave the track. You're like, man, I just did World Superbike. And you could see yourself improving each session. Like, and Jerez was really good because Estoril was more of a struggle, and that was the first weekend. Jerez, every time we went on track, we went faster and faster, and that was really cool to see. And we closed the gap to the front, and that was like what we're looking for. Was like, I think in Estoril, at one point I was 3 seconds off of the top guy per lap, which is an eternity. And no matter how hard I ride, the harder I rode, the slower I went, because I would just spin more and the bike would just get sucked into the ground. And then I didn't get it. As a team, I couldn't comprehend it.
Right,
and then Perez, after sitting on it for a week, I'm like, okay, man, I need to be smooth. I need to maximize these brakes. Like I never even, dude, I was getting callus on I don't get callus on my fingers from braking. I was 4-finger braking. 4-finger braking, and I have literally callus on my fingers from that weekend. Like you don't do that in America, you just don't. So it was different, but it was cool. Like when we left Jerez, I'm like, fuck, we just did World Superbike. That was cool. But when you're in it and you're getting your ass kicked, it wasn't that cool.
Now you've been home for maybe a week or so now. I want to wrap up the Jersey and just the the incident and stuff like that, and just your emotions as far as you I don't know if you mentioned when you found out if in the middle of the season you were going to get the wild cards for World Superbike, but there was a lot of media play on your gesture when you crashed in race 2 and stuff like that. It didn't turn out the way you wanted to. It's your first year on a factory team. Maybe at the beginning of the season, I don't know if you thought you'd be fighting for third place or even for the championship. Well, fighting for the championship, finishing third. In that moment, Jersey, end of race 3, I'm pretty sure you didn't want to hear anything from anybody. But how were you able to recharge or get yourself ready for World Superbike? How did you feel, towards the end? I mean, that got a lot of play on social media and stuff like that, and you got sanctioned and stuff like that. Nobody wants to be Dennis Rodman, and unless you're at a party.
I'll be real, and I'll start from the bottom. I'll tell you how it was. When it happened, so it wasn't me and Josh's first incident. You know what I mean? Me and Josh have been at Rocky Road for years. At least on the track, at least not off the track. Everything has been cool off the track. On the track, me and him had our differences a lot, and so did a lot of other riders. How should I word this? Basically, I was doing my same line. It was also last lap, and he has a Ducati, which you can really use the strengths of a Ducati. You could brake really, really deep, and he knows that he has as much power as he can, which is kudos to him because he uses it to perfection. I mean, he's won a lot of races that way, using his strengths and the bike strengths to win. and he tried to use those strengths in a wrong corner, which I wasn't expecting it. Which basically means like I need to keep my roll speed to make a lap time, and he could easily slow the pace down. In the race, you could see when he leads, the pace drops like a half a second or a second, and I was just trying to move forward, and I hit his rear wheel a few times out there during the race, and then on that lap, I wasn't expecting him not to open the throttle or brake, whatever he did. I didn't expect him to just be parked there, and that was my bad because I should have been more aware. I should have been way more aware of my surroundings and what possibly could happen. Because, like I said, I'm just trying to race forward. I'm not it's just hard to race that way, when people try to use those strengths. And after crashing, I did that gesture. No, I didn't mean I was going to kill him, like what everybody's saying. That's absolutely ridiculous. I'm no murderer. You know what I mean? I don't care how hard, how upset I get. I'm not going to murder anybody. I race motorcycles, and so I was just, you're through to me. You're done to me. People think like, oh man, you're the second guy. Like, how did he make you crash? It's like, well, shit, dude. Like, there's a lot of other things that come into play, so a lot of people don't know the real story on what happened, and everybody could have their opinions, which is fine. I mean, that's fine. But I definitely went off social media for a while. I did an apology. I went off social. I'm still off social media. I haven't gone on social media since. It's honestly been nice, but I've been that way a few times in my career, just kind of an Instagram, Facebook, whatever, cleanse, But yeah, so after that, and then the, race 3 crash, I don't regret race 3. That shit happens, I was just actually trying to ride as hard as I can. And Richard told me too, is like, you need to win this thing or crash, and that was it. And then what also upset me was before race 3, Heron was telling people, and it got back to me, that no matter what, he wasn't going to pass Cameron because he knew that if he passed Cameron, I would win the championship. Right. So he was actually, that actually literally got brought to my attention before race 3. So there was nothing I can do. And you could see that he was holding the pace up from SDK or whatever. And then he did a surge forward. So that actually really upset me more than me hitting him, in race 2, of him saying that. So that was a big bummer. I don't know how true it was, but I heard it from a few different sources, or said it to the media and it got to the wrong person. Whatever, it got back to me. At the end of the day, I was the second guy in line and I should have been more aware. But moving forward to the week leading up to World Superbike, obviously I didn't have social media, so that really helped. But here and there, I would talk to people on the phone. It's like, oh man, your thing's really blowing up. And then, then I get the call from MotoAmerica, and I got sanctioned $3,000 for that. So, they had to do something. I think Josh got sanctioned too for flipping off SDK. As well. Right after, there's a photo of Josh flipping off SDK. I thought in my mind that doing this gesture was a lot better than flipping somebody off on live television. But people read into this a lot deeper than I could ever imagine. So, but yeah, leading up to World Superbike, I had to really figure out, I had to really not think about Jersey.
Right.
So I had to just think about World Superbike, and I went straight back to my training program. And then World Superbike hit, and then, I wanted to personally do better than I did. I should be happy what I accomplished there, even though the result wasn't good. But I think this week is barely starting to hit me, all the weekends that I really haven't really processed. This week is the first week where I'm like, fuck, I lost a championship. Because I couldn't really process it throughout the week leading up to World Superbike. So this week has been, just been a bummer. It's finally hitting me.
Now, is it weird? Weird may not be the right word, because when you came into the season, you were hoping for top 3, top 4, and you were fighting for the championship towards the end and the last round and stuff like that. I heard you say you're hard on yourself with training and just in general as far as racing and stuff like that, and maybe still too soon because World Superbike just happened. But do you pat yourself on the back? Do you sit here and if you watch F1 race, you only drink champagne if you win a championship? But have you taken a moment to say, I really did a lot this year, really incredible. I might not have ended the way I wanted to, but it's pretty dope what you did from me looking on the outside.
Oh, I appreciate that. For me, and I'm gonna just keep it real, I'm a glass, what is it, half full?
Half empty?
Not half full, half empty, sorry, half empty. That's always kind of been my personality a lot, which is really negative. But I have tried, I really do always try to think back, oh man, we've succeeded, a lot this year. But sometimes I let the dark days get over me more than it should, doom gloom sometimes. But I think that's what keeps me going still, me being that hard on myself, which is, like I said, it's not healthy because even after World Superbike, I'm just fuck, well, what can I do next year if I'm on the team? It's just it's hard for me to process things like that and really think back oh man, we had a good year. I tell myself we had a good year, but I don't completely feel it, because I didn't achieve the end goal, that's the big thing for me. But I really am trying to be more positive.
Well, see, that's one of the big things when we look at racers from our point of view. Obviously, your point of view, you're looking at as this is your job. This is what you do. You want to succeed. You want to do the best possible. Like any of us do with our own work and with our own lives. We want to do the best we can. But then when we look at it as fans, we look at you and we look at first, you came in this year and you were probably in the best shape that I've seen you in a long time, man. You were lean, you were ready to go. There was something in your swagger at the beginning of the year that you were this might be my only opportunity. I'm going to give it 150%. I'm going to come in as sharp as I can to do whatever I can. Cause like you said at the beginning, nothing's guaranteed. There's no guarantee that you'll be there unless you perform a certain amount or you do this or do that. So you do have to kind of, as much as hard as you are on yourself, there are some positives in what happened this season that you got to look at. I mean, again, dude, you were the third person in line to get a ride.
No, that does bum me out. Say that.
You were the first chick they let go. You were the second chick. You were the torta that was left when the lights turned on.
Yeah, that still does bum me out quite a bit. Especially what I felt like I did in 23 on a Yamaha. But I need to look back because I did succeed quite a few times in the year, and this year was definitely super. I mean, I'm always locked in, but it was sauna every day, ice bath every day, riding motocross twice as much as I always do, putting in long motos, and just kind of taking it to the next level. And I was, this is my job. This is what you're supposed to do. But it was to the extreme on with the diet and just everything. And it's always watching footage between the races and doing studying or do something. It was every day, 24 hours, a day, or during the day when I'm awake, it was all just motorcycles. How am I going to be better? What am I going to be better? Oh, I can't eat this because this is not going to make me faster, or fucking dying in my sauna because I usually struggle in heat races. So I've been doing a lot of heat training and freezing
Jamaica
off in ice bath. It was just miserable. But I mean, like I said, all that paid off. It did. It really did. So, I just got to step it up one more next year.
Just 5 or 10 more minutes in the ice bath, 5 or 10 more minutes in the sauna.
It's so brutal.